Even before December 30th, 2002,
mimi Mwai Kibaki
hapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Atenda kazi zangu.
The name Mwai Kibaki had been on many a Kenyan's minds for over a year. This was after the famous Uhuru Park declaration of Kibaki Tosha.
Kibaki siametosha. Na mkasemaje?
His campaign was one of taking back the nation from years of authoritarian rule while giving Kenyans an equal opportunity at a share of the national cake and better representation.
Nchi ambayo itaweza kuinua hali ya uchumi wa nchi hii. Kwa sababu hiyo ndio lengo letu, hakuna ingine. Ni kuinua hali ya uchumi. Yale mengine ni ya kawaida. Hali ya uchumi kuinua.
Simba ameingia!
Mwai Kibaki was unbogable in his quest to transform a country that he had diligently served in various other capacities before ascending to the highest office in the land. The cheers at the iconic Uhuru Park from a crowd pregnant with huge expectations. They had turned up in their thousands, eager to usher in political change.
Of every group, every race, every creed have embarked on a journey to a promising future with unshakable determination.
His first order of business: ensure all children are in school through introduction of the free primary education program that saw over 2 million children get into the classroom.
Kuna mtoto wa miaka fulani ambaye hayuko shule. Naye baba yake atatueleza anamweka nyumbani afanye nini?
A year later, he embarked on a mission to get street families off the streets while offering street boys and girls a shot at making something out of their lives after training at the National Youth Service. But while he undertook these programs, his regime was tainted by attempts to gag the media, a media that had sung his praises all through his campaigns.
You buy people to manufacture lies.
Former First Lady, the late Lucy Kibaki, was on several occasions captured expressing her dissatisfaction with how the media covered her family affairs and took a bold step to storm the Nation Centre in 2005, holding a copy of the Standard newspaper, which she claimed was being used to malign the name of her family.
For the last 2 years he has been there, you have written lies about him every day, even today. I open your paper, the other one. Kibaki. First of all, when will you learn ever to call him president?
Kibaki himself remained tight-lipped on this up until a year later when he had to make a rather interesting address to the nation to clear the air on his marital status.
The media keeps repeating about my having another wife or wives. I want to make it very clear that I have only one dear wife, Lucy, who's here, and I do not have any other. And anybody who knows me and knows my family and knows how I live, they know I have only one wife.
But while Kibaki was fighting off allegations of having a second family, another family drama was brewing.
Don't ask me anything.
This time a young lady, Winnie Wangoi, who had been connected to the president then, was frequently being captured in the company of 2 foreign nationals who later on became wanted persons on the International Police Agency watch list. She is even reported to have been dating one of the Arthur men at the time. Due to their state connections, for months Arthur Margarian and his brother Arthur Sargassian enjoyed state protection under the guise of being investors. In 2006, The brothers were quietly deported to Dubai after allegedly brandishing guns at the JKIA when their guests were asked to open their luggage by customs officials. When Kibaki's war started getting darker, the media began to dig deeper, trying to uncover corruption within his government. Many a times the media would literally get burned when they published matters that were unsettling. A raid on the Standard offices by police officers in 2006, bringing to the fore the intolerance the Kibaki regime was exhibiting towards a free press. But the media kept on digging, and soon enough the anti-corruption czar that Kibaki himself had chosen to champion the war on graft, John Githongo, acknowledged that a huge scandal was brewing within government. The Anglo leasing scam would be to Kibaki what the Golden Bag scam was to Daniel Moi, and the NYS scam has been to Uhuru Kenyatta.
The fight against corruption had taken off very well in the period when we were in government. But then some people came up with an idea of creating a war chest to fight the ICC. And that, in my view, is how the corruption now again found its way into this major league.
The war chest.
In 2005, Kibaki started experiencing the first signs of defiance within his government. The first signs of cracks within the National Rainbow Coalition showed when his cabinet minister Raila Odinga joined forces with the opposition leader then Uhuru Kenyatta to run an opposition campaign against the draft constitution.
Sisi tukiwa vijana wa taifa hili hatuwezi kukubali wazee wachache waweke maisha yetu ndani ya shimo. Hatuwezi kubali.
Kibaki felt pushed to the wall and eventually dissolved the cabinet with the hope of salvaging the country's faith in his ability to lead the nation as one.
In accordance with the powers conferred upon me under the Constitution of Kenya, I have directed that the offices of all ministers and all assistant ministers become vacant. Consequently, the occupants of the said offices cease to hold their respective offices with the immediate effect. A reconstituted government will be in place within 2 weeks.
His once friend turned foe, and with a 2-year stint outside government, Raila Odinga became his biggest critic after campaigning for his ascent to power just 3 years before. This rivalry would build and boil up tribal tensions over the next few years, running up to the 2007 general election. By the time the elections came, the country was already torn right down the middle, and tribal passions were rising. In his 10-year, 2-term presidency, the 2007-2008 post-election violence was the darkest hour in the country's history. A period when the continent came out to save a daughter whose children were literally burning each other to death in the name of political power and tribal hatred.
We do have a deal. You will see that the government and Party of National Unity and the Orange Democratic Movement agreed to a formula.
But even as the two gentlemen shook hands at the steps of Harambee House and called for healing of a broken nation, Kibaki tried but was unsuccessful in changing the political course that the nation had always taken, tribal politics.
Potea, yamepotea, lakini kuanza leo tujenge Kenya mpya na tuendelee pale pale tulipokuwa. Ndipo Kenya hii iendelee kuwa na sifa.
Tunataka kujenga taifa yetu ambayo imeungana pamoja. Tunataka kusahau yaliyopita. Najua kuna wengine watasema tio mbona Raila amefanya hii, amekubali hii, lakini Kenya ni muhimu zaidi kushinda Raila au mtu mwingine.
In 2010, the nation hosted a different kind of vote that Kibaki felt would heal all the hurt and create opportunities for the nation to be better governed.
I will personally lead our country in promoting unity, tolerance, peace, and harmony.
Kenyans voted overwhelmingly for a new constitution, with the document being promulgated in August of the very same year. Kibaki raised the document to a resounding acclamation by a people who believed that the action was the beginning of a new chapter in the governance history of the country.
The new constitution changed our governance order completely. What we had been used to from independence up to that time. So I would say it is an important phase in our country's history.
Kibaki left office at the end of his term in April 2013. He was succeeded by Kenyatta, who had defeated Odinga in an election held the previous month. Leila Mohammed, NTV.